JANZZ.technology, the podcast.
Hi everyone, welcome to a new episode. I'm Laura Flamarich, host of this podcast, and today we wanted to deep dive into one of the most transformative forces in the labor market, artificial intelligence. AI has made its way into almost every single industry on the market, from healthcare to finance, passing by manufacturing, education, and many less known things like beekeeping, winemaking, or even personal fashion styling. It's transforming the way we work, the types of jobs available, and even how we think about our careers. But what does that mean for all of us? How is AI really impacting today's labor market? And how can we prepare for the changes ahead? To break it down, I'm excited to welcome our guest expert, Stefan Winzenried, CEO and founder of JANZZ.technology, who has been working with AI for a while and will help us understand how AI and automation are shaping the future.
Hi, Laura. Thanks for having me again. I'm excited to explore this topic. It's one of those conversations that swings between extremes, either doom and gloom or idealistic visions of a perfect future. The truth is, it's more nuanced than that.
Exactly. We've heard people talking about how AI could either destroy jobs or create more meaningful, less repetitive work. So, where do you stand on that?
Well, let's start by defining what we mean by AI-driven digital transformation. It's essentially about automating tasks that humans can't or do not want to do. This isn't new. Think back to the industrial revolutions. Each time people feared job loss. Yet businesses have always driven these changes to stay competitive and cut costs. In other words, with the famous quote of Church of Jeff, the underlying purpose of AI is to allow wealth to access skill while removing from the skilled the ability to access wealth.
Right. Like the introduction of steam-powered machines in factories. But what's different now? Previous technologies were also seen as a threat in the beginning, right?
Yes, but past revolutions mainly replaced physical, demanding, or repetitive labor. AI is now replacing more complex, higher skilled jobs. We are talking about AI that can diagnose cancer better than some doctors, or algorithms that help create digital art and write compelling content. And this goes beyond manual labor.
Right. But hasn't technology always led to new kinds of work?
That's a common argument, and it's partly true. For instance, when cars replaced horses, people worried about jobs in transportation. But new industries like roadside diners and motels emerged. The question is whether this AI revolution will follow the same pattern. Will we create enough new jobs, or will we end up with a surplus of workers who can't transition easily into these new roles?
Yeah. Some reports suggest that AI might create more jobs than it destroys, but others predict significant losses, especially in industries that rely on repetitive tasks. So, what's the reality?
The reality is, no one can say for sure. Studies show conflicting numbers. Even if we break even on job numbers, we might face skills mismatches. Some industries will have talent shortages, while others will see unemployment. It's not just about numbers, it's about the kinds of jobs that are created.
Right. There's this claim that AI will only destroy repetitive jobs, allowing workers to focus on higher value tasks. What do you think about that?
I'm skeptical. It sounds good in theory, but not everyone has the skills or desire to shift into those roles. For instance, a factory worker might not find the same satisfaction in programming a machine, and these so-called higher value jobs may not be accessible to everyone.
Of course, we should consider that some people find satisfaction in what others might call mundane work. So, this one size fits all argument doesn't hold up. And there's another claim that we can just upskill workers. Is that the magic solution?
Upskilling always sounds great, but it's not that simple. First, we can't predict the future of work accurately. AI is creating jobs we didn't even imagine a few years ago, and it's hard to train for jobs we don't know exist yet. Plus, what happens to people who can't access training? In the US and the European Union, up to 20% of the adults have low literacy levels, making it hard for them to reskill. And then there is the issue of the working poor. Many don't have the time or the resources to learn new skills while holding down jobs.
Right. But what about businesses? Shouldn't they invest in training their workers as an investment in the future?
In an ideal world, yes. But businesses are profit driven. If replacing workers with AI is cheaper and more efficient, many will go that route rather than reskill workers. We are already seeing this in place like call centers. AI chatbots are handling thousands of customer queries with fewer humans needed. From a business standpoint, it's a no-brainer. The competition will push them in that direction.
True. AI is also about efficiency. But what does that mean for human work in the long term?
Well, this is where things get philosophical. If we end up working less because of AI, what does that mean for our sense of purpose? Work has always been a fundamental part of our human life. If AI takes over a lot of it, will we lose something important? And will society distribute the benefits of AI fairly? Or will it deepen inequality?
Those are big questions. AI could either liberate us from work or it could exacerbate wealth gaps if the benefits aren't shared. I guess the key takeaway here is that we need to prepare for both possibilities, right?
Absolutely. We can't assume that everything will sort itself out as it did in past revolutions. We need realistic strategies, whether that's retraining, tax policies on AI, or better social safety nets to make sure the future of work benefits everyone, not just a selected few.
Exactly. And that brings up one important question. What actions can we take as individuals?
On an individual level, I think it's about being proactive. We can't rely on companies or governments to solve everything for us. Staying adaptable is key, whether that's learning new skills, embracing technology, or even developing strong interpersonal skills that are harder to automate. But it's also about recognizing that individual resilience alone isn't enough. We need structures in place to support people like affordable retraining programs and career transition resources.
Right. But what about those jobs that are crucial to society but often undesirable or even underpaid? You know, things like waste management, sanitation, certain types of caregiving, even some roles in agriculture or in the tourism industry. Jobs that many rely on, yet wouldn't choose to do themselves.
Yes, those jobs are the backbone of society, and they often don't get the respect or the compensation they deserve. One thing we are seeing is an increased interest in automation to handle some of those roles. For example, there's more investments in robotics for dangerous or physically demanding work in fields like construction or waste management, but we are far from fully automating all these roles. And honestly, some of them might always require a human touch, like caregiving.
So, in cases where automation isn't feasible or desirable, what could be done to make those jobs more appealing?
Good question. Part of it comes down to valuing those roles more openly, both in terms of pay and social recognition. We could look at things like wage subsidies, improving working conditions, or even offering tax incentives to make these essential jobs more attractive. There is also a cultural shift that needs to happen. As a society, we should be recognizing and celebrating the people who take on these roles because they are fundamental.
But do you think these changes are happening fast enough or even happening at all?
I'd say society is still catching up with the rapid pace of technology, and it's a gap we can't ignore. Despite advancements, we still rely heavily on manual jobs and skilled trades, like those of handyman and other essential roles that technology currently can't replace. That's one of the reasons why at JANZZ.technology we have been analyzing labor markets globally for years. We work on forecasting the unique workforce needs of each locality to provide actionable insights for the future. Ensuring a balanced transition will require more than just technological solutions. It will need a coordinated mix of policy innovation, commitment from the private sector, and heightened public awareness to build a workforce strategy where no one is left behind.
That's a hopeful note to end on. Thanks, Stefan. I think we've unpacked some crucial points today. AI is already transforming work, but it's up to us to shape the outcomes. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.
Goodbye.